Black Girl, Korean Heart. Seoul Academy's Forbidden Melody. The taxi halted, protesting against the pristine Seoul Imperial Academy driveway. Lee Jones, sketchbook in hand, took a deep breath. The school, a modern glass and steel structure, felt more like a corporation than a place of learning. A text from her mom, an art historian researching Korean art, directed her to Mr. Kwon. Her mom was on sabbatical at Korea University, and here she was. Inside, students moved with practiced grace. A group of 4, radiating power, caught her attention. They were good-looking and had an air about them. Principal Kim welcomed her, emphasizing the school's tradition. "We value tradition and refinement," she said, a subtle warning. But why? Perhaps it was her imagination. Mr. Choi, her homeroom teacher, outlined the school's structured environment. "We expect our students to uphold the highest standards," he said. Again, that perceived warning. Lee's defiant question about students having the right to self-expression was met with a hesitant and vague response. In class, Soo-jin, a Korean-American girl, warned her about the group she had noticed earlier, especially Park Ji-hoon, their leader. "They run this school," she had whispered. "Be careful." That morning, Lee had a brief run-in with Ji-hoon. His smooth voice challenged her. "I hope you find your stay enlightening." "I doubt enlightening is the word I'd use," Lee retorted, walking away. Although he was the student body president, he hadn't sounded quite welcoming, but she didn't care, or so she told herself. The art room, filled with vibrant colors and chaos, soon became her refuge. Mr. Kwon, the art teacher, seemed a bit different from the cold principal and homeroom teacher. Captivated by her sketchbook, he encouraged her to enter the Seoul Art Spectrum competition. News of her participation spread, stirring the school's social order. Tae-jun, charming, curious, and one of the elite 4, approached her during lunch. "You're shaking things up," he said. "Maybe it should be," Lee countered. Min-seo admired her boldness, while Haejin's disdain was evident. Haejin belonged to the elite 4, and her attitude did not surprise Lee. She had seen her kind in various movies about school drama. As days went by, Lee's mural, a fusion of African American and Korean influences, began to take shape. It challenged the school's traditional aesthetic. Ji-hoon observed her, his expression unreadable. When he approached, their conversation started a bit awkwardly but soon revealed a shared tension. They talked about her art and his music. "Maybe your melody needs a little dissonance," Lee said. Ji-hoon's music, heard in the auditorium, revealed his vulnerability. "My father, he uses my music," he confessed, his voice filled with pain. Lee saw his burden. It was like fate had planted her within the elite 4, even without her knowing it. One day, Min-seo confided in Lee about her arranged marriage, seeking solace. "My life, it's not mine," she said. Min-seo revealed her fear of disappointing her family, and Lee comforted her, telling her to stay strong and that things have a way of working out. Lee was surprised at the pressures they bore. She soon understood that Haejin's jealousy masked her own insecurities, and so she refused to engage with her. She had been at SIA for just a couple of weeks, yet the secrets they held began to surface, revealing hidden depths: pain, family pressures, insecurities, confinement, and a lack of voice. SIA was from the outside an elegant building housing a school with high prestige and academic performance, but inside each character was grappling with their own vulnerabilities and desires. One afternoon, in the quiet of the art room, Ji-hoon approached Lee. "Your art is different," he said, his voice low and hesitant. "Is that Korean for offensive?" Lee asked, her eyes flashing with a hint of defiance. "No," Ji-hoon replied, a hint of a smile playing on his lips. "It's unexpected, like a discordant note in a perfect melody." Lee smiled then and countered, "Yes, like a discordant note in a perfect melody," her gaze unwavering, challenging him to see beyond the surface. Ji-hoon's eyes lingered on her mural, a thoughtful expression on his face. "Perhaps," he murmured, his voice barely audible, as if contemplating a truth he had long suppressed. The tension between them was palpable, a silent acknowledgement of the clash between their worlds. At the same time, they felt the irresistible, intangible pull towards each other. Beneath the conflict, a spark of understanding flickered, a hint of a connection that transcended their differences, a subtle melody playing between them. One day, Lee found him in the school's auditorium. Ji-hoon was playing the piano, his music a raw expression of his inner turmoil. The haunting melody wrapped around her like a quiet ache, tugging at her heart in a way she couldn't explain. Drawn to the haunting melody, she got closer, watching as his fingers expertly danced across the piano keys, each note drawing her deeper into the storm of his emotions. "That's beautiful," she said, her voice barely a whisper, the music echoing the unspoken emotions between them. Ji-hoon stopped playing, his hands hovering over the keys. "It's nothing," he said, his voice guarded, shielding himself from her gaze. "It's like a storm trapped inside a melody," Lee replied, her eyes searching his, seeing the vulnerability he tried to hide. "It's powerful. Music is complicated for me," Ji-hoon confessed, his gaze lingering on her, the silence stretching between them. "My father, he uses it as a tool." Lee's heart ached for him. He was trapped, his talent used as a commodity, his voice silenced. Later, in the school's library, Min Seo confided in Lee again about her arranged marriage, her voice laced with bitterness and a hint of desperation. "My life, it's not mine," she said, the words echoing the caged feeling Ji-hoon conveyed. "It's an arrangement." Before Lee could reply, Tae-jun joined them. He had heard Min Seo's words. Tae-jun, usually the life of the party, revealed a hidden vulnerability. "My family, they expect me to be perfect," he said, his playful demeanor masking a deep insecurity, a fear of not living up to their expectations. Hyejin, the Ice Queen, observed Lee's interactions with their classmates, especially Ji-soon and Tae-jun, with a growing sense of jealousy and resentment, and made snide comments which Lee ignored. She knew her actions were driven by fear, a desperate attempt to protect herself from the pain of rejection, a wall she had built around herself. The symphony of secrets had begun to play in full, revealing the hidden depths of each character. The stage was set for a dramatic conflict, a clash of worlds that would challenge everything they thought they knew, forcing them to confront their vulnerabilities and desires. The Seoul Art Spectrum competition loomed, transforming SIA into a battleground. Lee's mural, nearing completion, stood as a defiant statement, a vibrant clash of cultures. Its bold colors and unconventional imagery drew both admiration and scorn, making her the center of attention. Ji-hoon, witnessing Lee's unwavering dedication, found himself increasingly drawn to her rebellious spirit. He questioned his own artistic limitations, the constraints imposed by his father. He spent more time in the art room observing Lee's process, her fearless exploration of form and color. "You're not afraid, are you?" he asked, his voice low. "Afraid of what?" Lee countered. "Rules are meant to be broken." "Especially when they stifle creativity," she added, her eyes flashing with defiance. Ji-hoon's lips twitched, a hint of a smile playing on his face. "You're a force of nature, Lee Jones." "And you're a caged bird," Lee retorted, her eyes softening. "But you have wings." Clearly Ji-hoon's dad kept a tab on his son and soon showed up at the academy. Park Tae-kyung, concerned about Lee's influence, attempted to discredit her work, manipulating the school administration. "Her work is inappropriate," he said to Principal Kim, his voice laced with disdain. Principal Kim, caught between loyalty and admiration, tried to reason with him, but Park Tae-kyung was unmoved. As the school's biggest donor, his father acted as though his money gave him the right to control everything and everyone. "The competition must proceed," he said, "but her work, it will not win." Lee wondered how such an influential man had the time and interest in such a thing. Hyejin, fueled by jealousy and a need for approval, allied herself with him, sabotaging Lee's art and spreading rumors. "Who would do this?" Lee muttered, discovering her tampered paints. Hyejin smirked, stopping short of admitting she was the person who had ruined Lee's art. her smile widening as she left the room with an elegant sweep of her shoulder, a graceful flourish that spoke volumes without a word. Ji-hoon, torn between loyalty and admiration, decided to use his music to rebel by performing a powerful piece that challenged his father's control. The students were captivated, seeing a vulnerable side of him. Lee's now completed mural became a symbol of artistic freedom. Her work was filled with open skies, unchained figures, wild landscapes, and people breaking free from invisible walls. The competition arrived, charged with tension. Ji-hoon's music filled the auditorium as he rehearsed, a raw expression of his inner turmoil. Park Tae-kyung attempted to silence him, but Ji-hoon refused, his music growing louder, more defiant. Lee, seeing Ji-hoon's courage, felt a surge of admiration. Min Seo, inspired by Lee, confided in Tae-jun about her desire for freedom. Tae-jun pledged his support. Hae-jin, isolated by her actions, observed their growing bond with jealousy. They seemed happy and less burdened since getting close with Lee, and she envied that. Listening to Ji-hoon's music, Hae-jin confronted her own fears, realizing her actions were driven by a need for acceptance. To Mr. Park, Leah art isn't just paint on canvas, it's a threat. A quiet rebellion, a mirror showing his son's growing desire to break free from a life that's been carefully curated for him. Lee's mural became a focal point, drawing both admiration and controversy. Mr. Park was furious because Lee's art embodies freedom, something he spent years trying to suppress in Ji-hoon. Ji-hoon prepared to perform now. The guests had all arrived, his music a statement of his own artistic freedom. As he took the stage, Park Tae-kyung attempted to interrupt him, demanding he stop. But Ji-hoon refused, his music growing louder, more defiant. The audience erupted in applause. Lee, seeing Ji-hoon's courage, felt a surge of admiration. Park Tae-kyung, realizing he was losing control, turned his attention to Lee's mural, attempting to discredit it. "That abomination," he spat. "It has poisoned my son's mind." Lee stepped forward, her eyes flashing. "My art is a reflection of my soul. I won't let you silence it." Hae-jin, witnessing the confrontation, found herself at a crossroads. She stepped forward, her voice trembling. "Mr. Park, please. Stop. You're wrong. Lee's art is beautiful." Park Tae-kyung, facing the consequences of his actions, turned to Ji-hoon. "Ji-hoon, I only wanted what was best for you." "Your best was my prison," Ji-hoon replied. "My music, my life, they're mine now." During an intermission, he played a melody of reconciliation, a song of forgiveness and understanding. The audience, captivated, fell silent. Lee, watching, felt a tear roll down her cheek. The competition had become a symphony of rebellion, a clash of worlds. The stage was set for a dramatic climax. In the aftermath, Park Tae-kyung faced the consequences of his actions, his reputation damaged. Ji-hoon embraced his musical freedom, his talent flourishing. He even didn't wear the school uniform that day, just for some time. Lee did not win the competition, but her mural became a symbol of change at SIA. Min Seo, with Tae-jun's support, broke free from her arranged marriage, seeking her own path. Hae-jin, seeking redemption, found acceptance among her peers. Lee and Ji-hoon, their bond strengthened, found a way to bridge their different worlds. They acknowledged their shared journey and emotional connection, and began to officially date. They also began to look to the future. Ji-hoon applied to the music program at Seoul National University and Lee to the fine arts program, with her mom's approved. For now, Park Tae-kyung did not interfere, but as an astute businessman, perhaps he was just picking his battles. But their story was far from over. New pressures and conflicts awaited them in university, testing the strength of their bond. Would they be able to navigate the challenges of their artistic pursuits and the lingering disapproval of Ji-hoon's father? Would their love withstand the trials of a new world? They had found their voices, their freedom, and their love, proving that even in the most discordant of environments, a beautiful harmony can emerge. As their senior year at SIA drew to a close, Lee and Ji-hoon faced the question of their future. Their bond, forged in conflict, had deepened, transcending cultural barriers. They were inseparable, a testament to understanding and acceptance. Ji-hoon, freed from his father's control, has been accepted to Seoul National University's prestigious music program, eager to explore his artistic freedom. Lee, her art a catalyst for change at SIA, had been accepted into the same university's fine arts program. The prospect of continuing their journey in Seoul filled them with hopeful anticipation. At their graduation, Park Tae-kyung offered a tentative olive branch. He approached them, his expression a mix of regret and reluctant acceptance. "Ji-hoon," he said, his voice low. I was wrong. About you, about her." Ji-hoon, his eyes filled with resolve, nodded. "It's time for a new beginning, father. One where we respect each other's choices." Park Tae-kyung's gaze softened as he looked at Lee. "I hope you will both be happy." Lee and Ji-hoon exchanged a meaningful glance, acknowledging the arduous journey they had taken. They knew challenges lay ahead, but their love, their shared passion, and their belief in each other would guide them. As they walked out of the graduation hall, hand in hand, the future stretched before them, a canvas of possibilities. They were ready to paint their own symphony, a melody of love and acceptance. But their story continues. As they embark on their university journey, new pressures and conflicts await them. Will they navigate artistic complexities and Ji-hoon's father's lingering disapproval? Will their love withstand the challenges of a new world, where cultural differences and societal expectations threaten to tear them apart? Love Lee and Ji-hoon's story? Let us know your thoughts, hopes, and ideas for their next chapter in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe for more stories and songs.